Hello, and welcome to the Borealis Experience. I'm your host, Aurora, and I'm very happy to be spending some time with you today. I hope you're doing well. If you're not doing well, I hope I can bring love and joy, resolution, peace into your life. If you haven't yet, subscribe to this podcast. And if you have, thank you so much. It means so much to know that you are a listener who keeps coming back to listen to my podcast. And if you really enjoy it, maybe leave me a review on Apple Podcast. 5 stars would be sweet. Or a review. Today I want to talk about parenting. Parenting. Aurora's talking about parenting. Well, does she have children? No, she doesn't have children. So why the F does she think she can talk about parenting? Well, my dear listeners, I'm a daughter. And I also happen to have empathy. So I love to put myself into other people's shoes. I realized something profoundly today. I realized that as a parent, you do your very best at all times. And we all know that we don't succeed at all times. But still, we're doing our best, right? We don't wake up in the morning and say to ourselves, today I'm going to be a shitty person. Today I'm going to be a shitty parent. No. When something slips, when something doesn't go the way it should be going, it is in the moment, it is impulsively, it's an accident. It is not meant to be, and this is okay. You are forgiven. Kids are not being born with a manual, right? You can look into astrology, you can visit astrologers and find out as much as you want about your baby and where it was born, when it was born, and what it's going to grow up to be like when you look into the stars. But chances are the environment is going to influence the baby and the outside world, society, things that are totally out of our control, and the baby will grow into what it wants to grow. And what I realized today is that when we do our very best, when we're parenting, when we help a little human being to grow into a healthy, responsible member of society, it must be very painful when all of a sudden that child, that teenager, that young adult decides to do something that you rejected with all your mighty emotional and mental force. You rejected that one thing that your child wants to engage in, and now your child is engaging into it, and it is scary. It is scary because you're worried that your baby is going to get hurt. You're worried that your baby is not going to get acceptance from society, that your baby is not going to belong, that your baby is going to struggle. Now look at the vaccine. Look at the parents who got the vaccine and the children who decide not to get a vaccine. They must be so worried and scared because for themselves it's very clear what is best. And why is it different for our own child, the child that we fed, we sheltered, we clothed, we poured all our love, and why is that child doing something so erratic and different? Same goes if you look at tattoos. I'm the only person in my family who has tattoos, and it must have been extremely weird for my family to find out. And it was like, I only know my side. I know my side because that's the perspective I had. I got those tattoos, I had my reasons, and I enjoy them every day. And when I received the reaction from my parents, I felt a little bit rejected, although I know when they reacted, they did it in a very loving way, and they wanted to understand, and they wanted to ask me questions, and we had discussions, like very friendly conversations about it. And it was just very lovely. But today I realized it must have been so scary and weird. Scary is maybe a little bit too extreme, but weird for them to see what I was doing with my body. Same goes with academics. You and your husband, you're very clear that you're bankers, you're intellectuals, you're doctors, maybe you're lawyers. And your child decides to become a musician. Your child is an artist and wants to express him or herself very artistically. Now, for some parents, this is refreshing. This is awesome. Like, this is the best addition to our life that we can imagine, because now we got it all. We got the academics and we got the artistic side in our family. But for a lot of parents and grandparents, it is so uncomfortable to see that you suck at math, that you don't care about history, that all you care about is socializing and arts. You love music, you love painting, you love being messy, you love expressing yourself in a very extravagant way. And if that child now feels, shit, I can't belong to my family, I feel rejected if I pursue my passion, my true calling, that's a very, very painful reality to sit in for that child. But what I realized today, for those parents, it's also very scary to see their child go off into a new direction because they don't know. It is uncertainty. The child is being a pioneer, and you have to let it walk off, and you don't know if it's going to make it or not. This is scary. I get it. I understand it. And the other day I had a conversation with my partner, and I said, well, my child is going to become this and that and learn all these languages and is going to be passionate about traveling. I can't have a child who doesn't like traveling because that's my passion. And we laughed so hard because at the same time I realized, no, this is not how it goes. The child enters the world as a complete new creation and being with its own thoughts and desires. And we as parents, we have to nurture it, shelter it, and give it whatever it needs, give it guidance, and also encourage the path that it wants to be on. As soon as we give it the impression that it is not okay to be gay, it is not okay to be overly excited about Van Gogh and Ludovico Einaudi and Mozart and Beethoven. This is just leisure time. You cannot make a profession out of it. But when you do, in saying those things, feeling those things, is cutting your child off from unconditional love and twisting it into conditional love. And this is when children start acting out because they feel on a very subtle level that they're being excluded, that they're not made to feel enough, that they're not meeting expectations. And this is crazy, crippling for the growth of a child. But I understood today how scary it must be to let your child walk off into a direction that you had rejected for your own path a long time ago, maybe. Parenting is tough, I get it. Being a daughter, being a son is very tough too, and I hope you will never forget how it felt the first time that you expressed a desire and your parents said you were not allowed to go down that path. Maybe you were in love with someone of a different caste, of a different, part of society, and your parents didn't want you to be together. Maybe you were interested in arts and music, and your parents forced you to become an academic. This is when sickness arises and depression. And we have to stop wonder why so many people are sick and tired and break out or commit suicide. We have to become more sensitive with what a child's path may look like. And if we feel resistance, if we feel scared, we have to check in with our ego. We have to ask ourselves questions and then ask the child specific questions and approach him or her with curiosity. I'm very proud of my parents, of how they dealt with my tattoos, for instance, but also many other instances. I'm very grateful. On a subtle level, I still felt rejected, but that's okay. It's part of life. It's part of growing up and making your own way in this world. But today I wanted to make sure that parents feel understood as well, and that I can see that it is uncomfortable, it is uncertainty, and it is scary. But we need to trust that the way we raised our child was the very best that we have done. And if they make a different conclusion out of it than what we thought initially, then it is okay. And we have to put trust in them, love in them, and again, trust. We have to trust that our babies that we send out into the world are taking care of themselves and love themselves so much, have so much healthy confidence in themselves, that they will make the right decisions. And if they didn't make a right decision, they know they can come back to you. They know they can come talk to you, recharge their batteries, recalibrate their compass, and then start out a new path without you judging them. I'm sending my love out to you, to all the parents out there, to all the daughters and sons and creatures that are listening. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. And if you have any comments, join me on my Facebook page, Aurora Eggert. Add me there, or comment below this episode that I will be posting here in a couple minutes. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourself.